PANAF ECHO, the African perspective.
African geopolitics.
Unveiling South Africa's struggle, Thabo Mbeki exposes 30 years of hybrid warfare. 3. Lights out, the sabotage of the electric infrastructure. Uncover the motives behind this deliberate sabotage and the impact it has on the frustrated population.
When we first had our first national power cut, when the country went blank because of Eskom, what is called load shedding, the national. The first time it happened was in January 2008. You remember that you live in the mines had to shut down for the whole week. Yeah. Again, apart from our panelists here, the older people would remember that at that time I was president. And the previous month of December 2007, either December or November 2007, I'd apologized publicly. Because at that, what had been happening is that you had regional instances of load shedding. Yeah. So in November, December 2007, I apologized for that. So on behalf of the government, we apologize for this because the reason for it is because there are certain things the government should have done and did not do. We delayed, and hence this apologies to the nation. I repeat, National Power Cut, January 2008. Many years later, I read in the newspapers that there's a report that has leaked which discusses the power failure of January 2008. And in reality, I was very wrong to apologize. Because what Eskom did, what the practice within Eskom at the time, was that it had its own internal monitoring process about internal performance of the power stations. And the regulation was that each power station must have a minimum of 22 days supply of coal immediately with it, and not to go below that. So the internal monitoring system kept an eye on that. And already during December 2007, that monitoring system was telling the power station managers, you are running out of coal, replenish. And they didn't. What caused the power failure of January 2008 was the power stations ran out of coal. Because the power station coal managers at each station didn't respond to this alert from within this organization saying replenish. They didn't run out of coal. So you can't produce electricity in a coal-fired power station without coal. I saw this thing in a report in a newspaper. It was a leak. So naturally, as you'd imagine, I'm very interested in all of this. This was a leak from a report of a special investigation unit. There was an SIU that had been commissioned to study certain things at Eskom. That SIU reported to the president in 2017 and said what I'm saying. That the reason for the power failure in January 2008 was easily avoidable. All you needed to do was to replenish the coal supplies at the power stations, that's all. The SIU report says, but they didn't do it, for whatever reason. That SIU report was never released publicly, to this day, still not been released. I'm saying the first national power failure at Eskom had absolutely nothing to do with the narrative that is told. Notice it was failure of government, it had nothing to do with failure of government. It was a deliberate decision from within the organization to produce that crisis. And one of the immediate consequences of that is, according to the procedures at Eskom, they declared an emergency. And emergency meant that in terms of coal, for instance, you didn't have to put out tenders and all of that. You just go and buy coal where it is available. That immediately doubled the price of coal. Immediately. And that report will also say some of those station managers pocketed something from that. I'm saying what the Nugent Commission particularly alerted us to, that there were some people in this country who did not like this democracy and sought to act in a negative manner to weaken it. I'm talking about Eskom. We take a decision, the government takes a decision in 2004. Whereas we had been saying to Eskom, look, don't build new capacity, generating capacity, for a number of reasons. We changed that and said 2004, okay, please build. That's when the decision was made to build Kusile, Medupi, Ngula, these power stations. 2004. But the record will tell you that the construction of Medupi, the first one to go under construction, started in 2007. So the question that arises in my head, what's the delay? Decision takes get taken in 2004, implementation starts 3 years later. Why? It's not easy to find an answer to that question in terms of the Eskom reports that you'll see on the internet. But the reason is, in fact, let me say the reason. What happened was that they started to construct Medupi before 2007. Not surprising when the government says 2004, please build. But they had to stop the building, destroy what they constructed, because the companies that were paid and commissioned to prepare the building site for the building of Medupi didn't do their work properly. It's called geotechnical work. They didn't do their work properly. The result of which is when the construction of Medupi started, it sank. Had to be destroyed, more work done on the site. That delayed the construction of Medupi for 2 years. In my view, that's not an accident. That you'd have companies which normally are paid, they do this job all the time to prepare sites for construction of whatever, and they mess this one up so badly that it delays construction of Medupi by 2 years. I'm saying I don't think that's an accident. It's consistent with these people who intervened with regards to SARS. They were intervening with regard to the matter of electricity. Medupi, Kusile were supposed to have been completed by 2014. In which case there would never have been this electricity crisis. But Kusile is still not completed to this day. Why? 7 years after the construction of Kusile started, 7 years, it was not generating any, whatever you call that unit, of electricity after 7 years. Obviously, this is very embarrassing to anybody. So what Eskom did was to hire an Indian company, the Tata brothers. Hired the Tata brothers to come and build Unit 1 of Kusile. And the reason they did that is because that company had built another power station in India, which was more or less a replica of Kusile. So they came indeed and they built Unit 1 of Kusile. So at last, Kusile was generating electricity. So this company was expecting that their contract would then be extended to build Unit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But Eskom said to them, no, we can't extend your contract unless you've got a BEE partner. So the Indians wanted to know, we brought 50 engineers and technicians from India, and the rest of the staff is staff at Eskom that we worked with. When you say we must have a BEE partner, how do you do that? Are there black engineers and technicians who can then come and become our partners? Maybe that's black empowerment. No, that wasn't working because already they had 120, 130 people under mentorship, engineers. Well, in the end, the matter couldn't be resolved of this BEE partner, so the Indians left. They finished their work in 2016. That Unit 1 of Kusile was integrated in the grid in 2017. I'm saying to this day, we have not finished constructing Kusile. And yet it's quite clear, if this business had not popped up of a BEE partner, Kusile would have been completed a long time ago. And I'm absolutely certain that whoever said to these Indians, get a BEE partner, it was not out of interest in terms of BEE matters. It was to delay the construction of Kusile.
For watching. Stay tuned for more echoes of current affairs.